Welcome to another Veterans Cafe podcast. I'm Wes.
I'm Tracy. And that was David Bowie.
So, of course, unfortunately, we lost another great legend in the music industry. A guy who has left behind a legacy of music, movies, hair, and makeup styles.
Oh my God, he sure did. Oh my God, there's so many wonderful, fantastic memories I have in my life, because I'm older, right? I was born in 71, he was a huge part of my, growing up period. But, oh my God, there's so many memories that have been flooding back to me the last couple of days, since he left us, because, so many people have been playing, tributes to him, like on social media. And of course, I'm a fan. So, people like Madonna made me tear up a little bit, with like her, she was just sharing how she was inspired by him, and she snuck away. Like she literally left her house when she was a teenager and got grounded for forever because she went to one of his concerts and she wasn't supposed to go. But it was important to her because, he inspired her. And of course she did a lot in music as well. And, I'm always like a huge fan of people inspiring people because you just never know where that could go. And, I think it's so awesome. Like people like Sylvester Stallone, we'll mention a little bit, has been a huge inspiration to me. And oh my God, David Bowie. I mean, I've just been listening to his songs like everybody else the last couple of days, just over and over and over. And this horrible run that I just went on, was just that much faster because I was listening to a couple of his songs.
Oh. I didn't even know David Bowie when I was a kid as far as like his music and all that.
Oh my God.
You know what I knew? The only thing I knew of his was literally the movie The Labyrinth. That was all I knew.
Oh my God.
With the big hairstyle. I mean, who knows? He may be the reason I grew a rat tail when I was a kid.
Oh God, that's so horrible. So horrible. I don't know. You said one of your brothers used to put it in his mouth.
My brother, he grew so long he could literally stretch it around across his face. Hey, this was Texas, all right?
So silly.
That was the style back then.
Oh my goodness. Oh, David Bowie. I could go on and on and on and on, and I will try not to. But I have to say, oh God, there's so many songs of his that I love. But Let's Dance. Oh my God, it was just amazing.
Yeah. Just to tell a little bit about for a short second here, just to tell a little bit about what he did actually accomplish and leave behind him. He, according to the BBC, 140 million albums were sold since his first release in 1967. He had 111 singles, 51 music videos, along with a number of film roles, including Labyrinth, which, by the way, was awesome. And 25 studio albums, including Black Star, which was released 2 days before his death, which I think is awesome that he actually released an album right before he passed on, so that last little...
It's his final gift. It's actually really good. We have Apple Music, right? We pay the $9.99 a month, which my husband's not happy with. But oh my God! Anyway, Apple Music is amazing. I love it, so I'll recommend it. But it let me listen to Black Star, and it literally is like his final gift to us. So I think it's awesome. If you haven't heard Black Star, I definitely encourage you to look for it, whether it's YouTube or Apple Music or whatever, but it was awesome. Anyway, so, when you were reading off all of his accomplishments, like all the, amazing accomplishments he had, and you're talking about millions specifically, it made me think about the Powerball. And it made me think about specifically social media and the Powerball.
But still, I must admit, we still don't have our ticket yet. We should probably get a ticket. I mean, come on.
I know. How many times have we said, okay, if we win the lottery, but we've never played the lottery?
I've never bought a ticket in my life. Not once. I don't know how many times I've talked about winning the lottery, and I've never bought a ticket. I know the statistics. I know all that. I get it. Throwing away money, whatever. But it's $1 billion. I mean, come on.
It's like 1.5 right now, I think. And neither one of us, by the way, has ever bought a ticket. Which is funny to me, but we both have had numerous conversations of where all this money would go, right? Like down to the penny.
Yeah. Well, what's funny about it too, though, is that I was actually reading that the reason it's gotten so huge is because as no one wins it, and it gets bigger, more people buy tickets like us who have never bought a ticket in our lives. So literally the number of people has grown exponentially that are buying tickets, that the pot is growing exponentially. So if by some crazy chance no one wins it, imagine how much bigger the pot's going to be and how many more people, including maybe us, are going to buy tickets for it. And it's just going to be an outrageous sum of money.
But what else is like hysterical to me about this is math. I am terrible at math, but Americans, oh my God, we're horrible. I mean, like there's all these like videos and all these like PowerPoints going through social media about, okay, if we divide the 1.3 or whatever it is, point billion, if we divide that and we give that to each American, that it ends up being like, what did they say? It was like 4.3 million or something?
Yeah.
And it's actually $4.39 or something silly like that.
Yes.
Anyway, it just makes me laugh because...
You know, it shouldn't make you laugh because, I mean, it's a reflection upon all of us as Americans. I'm not kidding.
Horrible.
Everybody wonders why Europeans hate us so much. It's stuff like that. And
because we don't do math.
what makes it worse than anything is not that one person screwed this up, because of course there's people out there who would just assume this kind of thing. But the fact that it became this social media trending horribly like shared so many times, it's outrageous.
And nobody can add how many times, right?
And everybody's like,
terrible
yeah,
at math.
seriously. I mean, come on. And it shows either one of two things. Either we are all incredibly stupid
Or we're
and can't do
lazy.
math, or that we're just, maybe lazy. So lazy that we're not even willing to just read and look into something before we'll just share it on our social media wall, you know?
Well, most people I don't think read. I think most people just look at the headlines, right? And then they share based on the headline. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But going back to David Bowie.
All right. Well, my wife is stuck in the 80s yet again. I believe that was a title to one of our podcasts, one of our first podcasts, how you being stuck in the 80s.
Love that song. Love that song.
Well, while you're bathing in the Aquanet and
I'm putting on my red shoes and dancing the blues. Yeah.
there we go. Yeah. I want to talk about another person that we found online. Another person, another hero, but a true hero, not just in life, but in death as well. This guy's name was Walter Jim Hosey. And he went out how?
With quite the bang.
Don't worry, guys. I'll use the uncheese
so
filter.
Awesome. It is so awesome. Love this. Go ahead.
So this guy was a Vietnam War veteran who, it says he's from Laverkin. I'm guessing that's Utah because the article's from St. George, Utah. So, southern Utah. So this guy got his family and friends together and had a certain request for whenever he got out, whenever he kicked the bucket and moved on. Mm-hmm. So he had an American Legion rifle salute, taps, and the honorary presentation of the American flag, like any other normal ceremony, service, anything like that. But also, they loaded 50 12-gauge shotgun shells with his ashes and fired them off with the help of relatives and friends.
I just love that. I mean,
That is the most amazing way to go out that I've ever heard of.
I know, like who doesn't love the sound, right? Of shotguns to begin with. Like just the sound is awesome, right? And then to realize what you're shooting off. Oh my God, that's so, I love that his friends and family actually fulfilled his wish. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. And it actually shows pictures and everything. Like his family still received the flag. You know, like I said, they still had the whole ceremony and everything. His children attended. More than 100 people were there. It's just awesome that somebody would, I don't know. That's just an incredible way to go. You know?
If you're going to go, that's a way to go, right? That's awesome. Well, I mean, we all have to go, but that's awesome. That's a way to go.
Yeah. So, moving on, a way not to go.
Yeah.
If you haven't read recently, Mr. Bo Bergdahl is back in the news.
Yeah.
And he has a court hearing set at North Carolina Army Base coming up very soon. So I don't know how many of you guys listen to other podcasts, but
Of course not. They just listen to ours, right?
you never know. I mean, it could be like our two relatives listening to this right now. So
Maybe 3.
Yeah, definitely your mother, because she's such a sweetheart. She just listens to it just to make us feel better about our download numbers.
She's awesome.
That's how sweet she is. But so I listen to a ton of other podcasts, and anyone who listens to podcasts knows about the podcast Serial, because Serial made podcasting, like basically helped put podcasting on the map. It became so popular. I think they had over 90 million downloads. It's been crazy. Well, the first season was amazing. For some reason, in the second season, they decided to do it on Bo Bergdahl. And I'm already into the 4th episode. I think that's all they've released so far. And up to this point, it feels like all this podcast has done is listen to him tell his story, of course, to a director who, of course, is going to make a movie about it. The same director who did like Zero Dark 30. He did another big military movie. I can't remember what it was, but I mean, I like the movies, but the fact that they're even making a movie about this guy pisses me off a little bit. And listening to his story, if you listen, like I said, if you listen to the podcast before, the first podcast, it was so incredibly objective. It was such good journalism. You know, they really did their research. They really went in depth. And in this case, to their credit, they can't really go too in depth because there were all these events unfolded in Afghanistan. So it's not like they can do a whole lot of investigative reporting in terms of eyewitnesses and evidence and stuff like that. But essentially what that means is that it boils down to Bergdahl's word and the word of, it sounds like former Taliban people who they also interviewed, which, why the hell would we trust either one of them? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And this guy's story, his whole story about why he left, it sounds like the most utter bullcrap to me that I've ever heard. Have you heard like what he's saying? Like the reason is that he left?
Yeah, the whole thing just upsets my stomach. Just hearing his name at this point upsets my stomach.
Yeah.
It just does.
So,
I just find it disgusting.
So if you haven't heard his story as to why he says he left his post, he formulated this, according to him, he formulated this entire plan saying that he was going to essentially desert his post, which was basically a small outpost about 40 miles from the nearest large FOB in Afghanistan, somewhere around like the Khas province. And his plan was to cause a Dust One situation, which if you don't know what Dust One is, it essentially means that there is a missing soldier. So it causes all these resources to get thrown into the mix, trying to find and locate a missing soldier. So anyways, he was going to call this a stir up, this Dust One event. And his plan was to travel from his little outpost to this other post within 24 hours and arrive there because he felt that there was a failure in leadership and he wanted the attention to be able to talk to the big wigs, the generals and whatever. And he thought this would get him the attention he needed. What a load of crap.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Seriously.
It hurts my stomach.
What an absolute load of crap. And then when he got outside the wire and it took him, of course, longer than a day, his friends are already out there looking. I say friends. His fellow soldiers are out there looking for him. All these resources have already been diverted to try and find him. And he's been out there longer than a day. And what he says in this interview with this director is he says, well, I felt like maybe if I came back with a little intelligence, my punishment wouldn't be as bad. So he says that he went out and tried to stake out locations where possible IEDs could have been buried in the hope that he could get intelligence and follow these people back to wherever their stronghold is, get intelligence, and then continue on and go to that base and, you know, come in and be in trouble for desertion, but he can offer this intelligence so that he won't be in as much trouble. What an utter load of crap.
Yeah, all I can literally say is it just the whole thing. As I said, his name just upsets my stomach because the whole thing is disgusting and I don't know. It's just disgusting. I hate talking about it and I hate giving him time and energy because he's disgusting to me.
Well,
I just do. I'm sorry. I just do. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
I mean, it's important to talk about it. It just disgusts me.
It's funny actually that his name has actually become like an insult in the army.
Yeah, it hurts my stomach.
Like people use it to insult each other. What are you, some kind of Bergdahl?
I know. Oh, it's disgusting.
Oh, I think it's awesome. You know, like we don't even need the term Blue Falcon anymore. We just use Bergdahl. What are you, some kind of Bergdahl?
Oh my God, so horrible.
Oh man. So, anyways,
yeah.
I don't really know what the story actually is. Who really knows what his story is? But the fact of the matter is that he left his post.
Yes.
I mean, that's all that really matters.
And anyone who's a decent soldier knows that's like a no-go, right? I mean, that's putting it very conservatively. I mean, I don't know. And then I hate so many things about the story, right? I don't know. I just hate that people were looking for him, right? And then I hate that people were possibly injured and hurt looking for him. I mean,
people were definitely hurt and injured looking for him.
I hate that. I hate that. Like, this upsets my stomach. But anyway, so yeah. But anyway, we'll keep you posted if you're not already following the story already, because, you know, it hurts my stomach. So I kind of know what's going on, and my husband knows what's going on. So we'll keep you posted. But yeah.
Yeah. So to keep you posted, he was arraigned.
Even though he left his post, had to get that in. You know, posted.
I swear to you, somewhere in Audition, there is an uncheese filter. I will find it, and we'll uncheese the shit out of this podcast. So anyways, to continue on, he was arraigned during a short hearing last month, but did not enter a plea. He could get a life sentence if convicted of the relatively rare charge of misbehavior before the enemy. It's a rare charge because people don't leave their freaking post and get captured. That's why it's a rare charge. So just throwing that out there. Anyways, to move on before we both get angry.
My stomach already hurts. Possibly more David Bowie? Okay, so on a more positive note, the Oscars. Oh my God, I swear I will try really hard not to like bore you all to death with Oscars, but I really had to talk about Sylvester Stallone because, you know, as we mentioned earlier, David Bowie was a huge part of my life and he influenced many people. Madonna was one of them, right? And then Madonna went on to like influence countless numbers of people. Sylvester Stallone has been a huge part of my life, specifically as, you know, an athlete and a personal trainer and just the bodybuilding and just the inspiration that any of his movies, well, I shouldn't say any of them, but any of his Rocky movies have been incredible to me personally. And just recently, you know, the Oscars, of course, you know, he won for, you know, his supporting role in Creed. And oh my God, I almost cried because, and I saw I went on YouTube afterwards and I saw like over and over because I almost cried because he said something that I have felt often. And a lot of times, you know, as a combat camera photographer, if I'm lucky enough to get a shot that's great, you know, if I'm just like lucky in the right place, right time, you know, people will comment. Even photographers that I love will comment and say, "Oh my God, Tracy, you know, you did a good job." And a lot of times I'll say, you know, "Thank you," but really it's just because I saw somebody else's work, you know, so I was inspired by somebody else, right? Like my husband always makes fun of me because Michael Bay, because I'm a huge Michael Bay fan. So he's always just like, "Oh, it's a Michael Bay shot with the lens flare or whatever and the slow motion."
And the slow motion. And the explosion. Yeah.
Yes, I know. And then John Woo with the dubs. I know. But I think you're basically inspired by, you know, things that you see and things that you hear and read and music and what have you. And
so for you, it's lens flare, slow motion, and explosions.
Yes, exactly. And anyway, I'm of course rambling as I often do. But Sylvester Stallone in his speech, the first thing he said when he got on there was,
"Please, thank you. I'm gonna try not to get emotional because I am the sum total of everyone I've ever met."
That's how I feel. So I was like almost moved to tears when like one of my idols said that, because that's how I feel. So I think it was so awesome. So I definitely wanted to share that little clip if you haven't seen it already or if you haven't heard it already. And, you know, the last thing he did was he thanked his, you know, imaginary friend, Rocky Balboa.
I want to thank my imaginary friend, Rocky Balboa, for being the best friend I ever had.
I thought that was so awesome. So, you know, he said he was the best friend he ever had.
So then you should be extremely jealous that I actually got to take a picture with that imaginary friend, you know, at the art museum. I got to run up the steps. I am basically Rocky.
I know. It's such a cute photo.
We should post that picture just to show people how Rocky I am.
I know. He inspired, I don't even know how many workouts, and he has and will and forever. And I don't know. He's always been there for me. So, you know, that's why we're here, right? Because we want to be there for you.
The only problem is, you know, we can't do a montage.
I love that movie.
So thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Veterans Cafe podcast. If you get a chance, please visit our website, vetscafe.com, vetscafe.com. And you can subscribe to iTunes. You can subscribe on Stitcher. You can email us directly. Or you could just leave us a review. If you get the opportunity, go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, and leave us a review. We would definitely appreciate it. Otherwise, thank you guys for tuning in again to another episode. And we look forward to talking to you next time.
Another one of my favorites. Bye.